Hello everyone. So today we are going to see batch processing or updation in JDBC. So what is batch processing or updation? Combining multiple SQL queries into a single batch and sends the batch to the database software at once. Execute the SQL queries to in the database software one by one from the batch and get result back to Java app as batch. So whatever example we have seen in the past, that in that application, what we are doing, we are executing only the one query, but now we can execute the multiple non-select queries by using the batch processing. So in the batch processing, what we can do any number of and any type of non-select queries belong to either same database table or different table can be added to the batch of the batch processing. So what we can do, we can use any number of and any type of non-select queries belong to either same database software or different database software. So we can use this execute batch method for this to send and execute batch of SQL queries in the database software. So first of all, we have to add the multiple non-select queries to the batch. So st means statement object. We will see one of the example. So let's assume that st is a what statement object. So st dot add batch is a method to add the our non-select queries. So I am passing is this is first query, non-select query, and I am also passing this update query, and we are also passing this delete query. So st dot add batch. So we can add multiple non-select queries. So this is the first step. We have to add the multiple non-select. Then how can we execute? So st dot execute batch is the method for to execute this, and it will give us what int array. Here you can see the return type is int array. So now we can process the this result whatever stored in the result array. So int is sum equals to result we will add, and we can find the sum of the records that are affected, and make sure that we cannot add the select queries to the batch. So in the if just add batch, we cannot add here the what select queries. We can only use this batch processing or updation for the non-select queries, because the return type of this execute batch is what int array. But if we use the select query, the return type of select query what is result set. So result set cannot be stored in this int array. That means we cannot add the select queries to the batch. So batch processing is only applied for the non-select queries. Now let us see the practical for this. Now I have created here a student table. So we have already seen the how to create a table, and that you can see my videos on the JDBC. I will give the link of that videos in the description. Also you can see the Oracle. In that I covered the basic the SQL queries. You can also see that. So I have already created this table what student, and this is having serial number, now student number, and student name, and student average, and student address. So these are the, now we will perform here what batch processing on this table. So I have already written the program, so let me explain this. What is this? So you all know this state connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection, and this is what JDBC URL, and this is the Oracle. Whatever you are using the software as MySQL or Oracle, you can give the your MySQL JDBC URL and your MySQL or Oracle what username and your password. So here I am using Oracle, so I have taken here what JDBC URL, and next one is this is the username and password. So this is common for all the JDBC application. Then statement st is equal to con dot create statement. Now here comes the important part. So whatever I have explained, so first step is what we have to do, adding the multiple non-select queries to the batch. So here I am adding the multiple non-select queries to the batch. So st dot add batch. So first of all, this non-select queries I am adding insert into student values 444 David, and this is what average, and this is student address. So what will happen, that will be inserted into this. Now second non-select query, what I want to do, I want to update the average of the student which is having the number as 2. Here we can see 2. So I want to add this average by 10. So this is the second non-select query I have written here. Then the third non-select query I want is delete from the student where sn equal to 1. So I want to delete this the student with the number 1. So these are the three queries I have added. So this is first step is done. Now second step what we have discussed, execute the batch. So second step is execute the batch. Here we can see int result array st.execute batch. So execute batch, the return type is int array. So we will take here int result array. Second step is done. Now the third step is what, processing the result. So we will process the result to find the sum of record that are affected. So as it is a non-select query, we can see that it will give us what, integer as its return type. So we are inserting one record, so it will give us a 1. Then updating one record, it will give us also 1. Then deleting one record, it will also give us 1. So our sum must be 3. So we will print the total number of records affected is equal to sum. So sum must be 3. Now this is done. Whatever we have done. First step is adding the multiple non-select query which we have to execute. First step. Then second step is execute the query and processing third step. And make sure that we cannot add the select SQL queries to the batch. And next is any number of and any type of non-select queries belong to either same table or different table we can add. In that case you can take, I am taking only one table, you can take the student table or employee table, whatever table you want to use, and I am taking only here a 3. You can take any number of what queries and add to batch. So here only I am using 3. So according to your purpose you can add many number of non-select queries to this batch. Now it's time to execute this program. So let me save this program and execute this. So here we can see total number of records affected is 3. So let us go to our SQL prompt, and here we can see I will select star from student, and here we go. So whatever we are doing, so first of all what we can see, insert into student values 4444 David 55.77 and France. So let us go to the SQL prompt, and here we can see 444 David 55.77 and Francis is adding into our table. So first is executed. Now next is whatever we have seen, update the student set average, as we are adding the 10 to the average of student having the number 2. So let us go here, we can then, so in the previous we can see the average is 68.67, but now after adding 78.67, so the average is updated. So this second is also executed. Now let us see third, delete from student where the number is 1. So let's go to the SQL prompt, and here we can see in the previous we have the record with the SNO1, but in this we can see the student number with the 1 is deleted. So this is the way we can do batch processing. And the whatever the points we have to remember is, we cannot add the select queries to the batch, and the next is any number of and any type of non-select query. Only non-select queries belong to either same DB table or different table can be added to the batch of the batch processing. And these are the three steps we can do. First is adding the multiple non-select queries to the batch, second is execute the batch, and third is processing the results. So this is the way we can execute this. So if you want this code, I will give the link of this code in the description. From there you can see this code.